Number two. These are minor problems, but there are some like basic kind of plot holes. It starts off with these bombers, right? These bombers that bomb a dreadnought, and the bombers apparently gravity applies in space, which is weird. Like they actually just drop bombs onto the dreadnought in space. So unless there's an actual gravitational field, which I assume would be pulling the bombers toward the dreadnought, which they're not, I don't understand how the bombs fall down onto the dreadnought. It doesn't make any sense to me. That is one problem. That problem is also accompanied by another problem that is a logistical one. Near the end of the film, one of the good people, Laura Dern, in a bizarre turn, decides that she is going to run a transport vessel through a Star Destroyer using light speed. It's a cool image. Why has no one ever thought of this?
You didn't clean up your mess.
Especially
hold
if
up.
you recall in Return of the Jedi, there is an actual scene where a Star Destroyer goes down because someone does a kamikaze run, right, on the Star Destroyer. Remember this? Return of the Jedi? One of the ships kind of flies out of control, boom, goes right through the control tower, and down goes the entire Star Destroyer. Why has no one ever thought to use to use light speed as a weapon? You could just get rid of the entire first scene. Or, if they knew that light speed was usable as a weapon, why would they sacrifice a couple of medical ships, right? There's a point earlier in the film where a couple of ships they basically run out of gas and they're blown apart by the First Order. If they know they have this tactic available, why not just turn one of those ships around and run it at light speed right through the Star Destroyer? Like, this is the ultimate weapon in the universe. You could take down the Death Star this way. But apparently this has never occurred to anyone until Laura Dern and her purple hair. Okay, another problem. Snoke. Okay, so they make Snoke out to be the big baddie in The Force Awakens. And they make it, he's the big baddie, he's the scary guy, he's the new Emperor. And he's so powerful in the Force that he can turn Kylo Ren from afar, right? He never even meets Kylo Ren, and he turns Kylo Ren away from Luke. That's how powerful he is. And this film, they show that he's super powerful because Rey is super powerful in the Force, and he's like throwing her around like nothing, right? He just stops her from doing anything, right? He's super duper powerful. You never find out who he is. You never find out what motivates him. You never find out where he came from, and he gets killed like that, right? He gets killed as like literally a hot knife going through butter, right? He literally gets killed with a little trick by Kylo Ren that is so cheesy and silly that it makes very little sense. It makes sense in Return of the Jedi, right? They have an exact Return of the Jedi scene where you have the good guy and the bad guy, and they're both in front of the Emperor. Now, in Return of the Jedi, it makes sense. The Emperor says to Luke, take up your lightsaber, strike me down, you'll become more powerful than you can possibly imagine. Luke does it, and Darth Vader stops him, right? That's cool, and it's dramatic. Here, Kylo Ren basically just activates it with his mind. Somebody quipped, if only they had lightsaber trigger control, this never would have happened. If only the NRA had not stumped for no gun locks on the lightsabers, then Snoke would still be alive. But the big problem is, of course, you can't build up a big baddie like that and then not tell us who he is or why he's there. Fourth problem. Kylo Ren, who's now the only interesting character left in the Star Wars universe because they've killed everyone, is not intimidating. This is not a problem with this film. This is a problem with The Force Awakens. In The Force Awakens, remember, it takes Darth Vader 3 films, 3, to lose a battle or to be convertible to the light side. It takes him 3 films. The first thing you see of Darth Vader is him literally blowing open a door and strangling somebody, picking him up off the ground and strangling him. Then he dispatches Luke, the most powerful Jedi in history. He dispatches Luke by chopping off his hand and beating the crap out of him in Empire Strikes Back. Right? And he's basically beating Luke in Return of the Jedi until Luke basically taps into the dark side of the Force. So it takes him 3 movies to get there. Kylo Ren, in the first 5 minutes of The Force Awakens, we find out, is conflicted, and then it turns out he can be bested by Rey, the ultimate Mary Sue, which means he's not scary. If you're going to have someone scary heading up the First Order, that person can't be defeatable by a girl who just picked up a lightsaber for the first time ever. Now, if you want to say the girl trained in it, fine, but she didn't train in it. She just picked it up and she's fantastic at it. Why exactly at this point in the film, at this point in the series, why should the Rebel Alliance be worried? Like, I don't know where they go for Episode 9. Why should they be worried? Rey is significantly more powerful than Kylo. We know this. We've seen it. So where's the competition now? No clue. Right? And General Hux is not exactly terrifying. Like, General Hux is not the Emperor. Okay, another problem. Rey's backstory is terrible. Now, I understand what they were trying to do. They were trying to make up for the fact that this movie, I feel bad for Rian Johnson, the director and the writer, because I feel like he was trying to make up for flaws in the other movies. So, in this movie with Rey, they were basically trying to cure one of the problems that was created by George Lucas with his stupid-ass midichlorians nonsense. Right, so George Lucas had this whole thing about the Force runs in your bloodline, and this is how we know that you're powerful with the Force, and all this kind of stuff. It was always dumb. Well, the the problem here is that they made a big deal out of the last movie. Who is Rey? Where did she come from? And it seems like for some reason she knows Han. Right? There's this weird kind of relationship. You remember this, Austin? It seems like she knows Han in The Force Awakens.